When the morning comes, it does not just bring daylight, it brings possibility. Each new sunrise is a reminder that you have another chance to shape your future, to rewrite your story, and to lay another brick on the foundation of your life. The way you treat the morning is the way you treat your destiny. If you stumble into it with no purpose, the rest of the day follows in the same pattern. But if you rise with clarity and intention, the hours ahead will bow to that decision. Mornings are not just hours on a clock, they are the seedbed of your future. What you plant in them determines what you will harvest in the seasons to come. Think of the farmer. He knows that if he neglects the soil in the early part of the season, there will be nothing to gather at harvest. The same is true for you. Your mind is the soil, and the morning is the season of planting. Every thought you allow, every action you take, every word you speak in those early hours is a seed. If you sow distraction, laziness, or worry, those seeds will grow into weakness, excuses, and missed opportunities. But if you sow discipline, gratitude, and growth, the harvest will be strength, focus, and prosperity. The law is simple: you reap what you sow, and you begin sowing the moment your feet touch the ground. Too many people treat the morning casually. They think it is just another part of the day. But the truth is, the morning is the steering wheel. It directs the rest of your hours. If you start with chaos, you carry chaos. If you start with strength, you carry strength. This is why winners protect their mornings. They refuse to let noise, distraction, or other people's demands steal the most valuable time of the day. They recognize that the morning belongs to them. It is their private meeting with their own future. And here is the truth about success: it does not come in one grand moment. It comes quietly, in the small disciplines repeated every day. The morning gives you a chance to practice those disciplines before the world interrupts you. 1 hour focused effort in the morning is worth 3 scattered hours later in the day. Why? Because in the morning your energy is fresh, your mind is clear, and your spirit is open. That is when creativity flows, when decisions are sharp, when determination is strong. Use it well, and it will multiply your results. Waste it, and you will spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. The seedbed of your future does not require perfection. It only requires consistency. You do not need to spend hours on a perfect routine. You only need to decide that the first part of your day will be spent on things that matter. Reading to expand your mind, writing to clarify your goals, moving your body to build energy, reflecting to strengthen your spirit. Just these small seeds planted daily grow into an orchard of success. It is not what you occasionally do in the morning that matters. It is what you commit to doing every single day. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you decided to use each morning as the foundation of your growth. That would be 365 mornings of deposits into your future. Each day would compound into the next until you find yourself standing stronger, wiser, wealthier, in mind, spirit, and results. Success is not built in a week nor in a month. It is built in the mornings, one sunrise at a time. Guard those hours. Respect them. Treat them as sacred. Because when you own the morning, you begin to own your life. Success is never something that falls into your lap by accident. It is not luck, it is not coincidence, and it is not reserved for a chosen few. Success is the result of deliberate design, careful decisions, and consistent discipline. Every person who has achieved greatness, in business, in health, in wealth, or in influence, has first sat down and designed the kind of life they wanted. They decided what mattered most to them, and then they built a routine, a mindset, and a lifestyle that matched that decision. Discipline in the morning is the cornerstone of that design. It is the small yet powerful act of saying, I am in charge of my day, not the other way around. Without design, life drifts. And drifting always leads to mediocrity. Imagine stepping onto a boat without a rudder, letting the current take you wherever it pleases. That is how most people live their lives. They wake up with no plan, no intention, no discipline. They rush through the morning pulled by alarms, deadlines, and distractions, hoping the day will somehow work out. But hope is not a strategy, and drifting will never carry you to the shores of success. The only way to arrive at a destination worth reaching is to design the path that leads there. Discipline is the drawing board of that design. It is the act of doing what is necessary whether you feel like it or not. When you decide to wake up with purpose, when you choose to read, write, exercise, reflect, or prepare, you are laying bricks on the structure of your future. Each morning becomes another line on the blueprint of the life you are building. Do it once, and it makes little difference. Do it every day, and soon you will see a structure so solid that no storm can shake it. Think of the word accident. Nobody accidentally learns a skill, accidentally builds wealth, or accidentally develops character. These things require a plan. But here is the beauty: your plan does not need to be complicated. It does not need to be filled with grand gestures or hours of labor. It only needs to be consistent. Waking up at the same time each day, dedicating the first minutes to growth instead of distraction, setting clear intentions, reviewing goals. These are simple disciplines. But simple does not mean easy, and simple does not mean unimportant. It is the simple disciplines, done daily, that separate the extraordinary from the ordinary. The danger of ignoring design is that failure does not show up all at once. It sneaks in quietly. Skip one morning of discipline and nothing happens. Skip another and still nothing seems different. But over time, the weight of neglected mornings builds into regret. That is why regret feels heavy. It is the accumulation of undisciplined choices. Discipline, on the other hand, feels light. It gives you energy, clarity, and confidence. Each time you practice it, you carry the weight of pride instead of the burden of regret. Success is a design because it requires you to be intentional with your time, your habits, and your choices. You cannot control the sun rising, but you can control what you do when it does. You cannot control every circumstance of the day, but you can design the way you start it. That design becomes your anchor, your compass, and your fuel. Without it, you drift. With it, you rise. So when you think of success, do not imagine it as a faraway dream. Imagine it as a building. Each morning, with your discipline, you lay another brick. Some days you will feel strong, and some days you will feel weak, but the discipline remains the same. Over time, the building takes shape. Others will look at it and call it success. But you will know the truth. It was not chance. It was not luck. It was design. The morning hours are the most valuable real estate of your day, and how you use them determines the quality of everything that follows. Yet most people waste this golden window of time on distraction, chaos, and noise. They reach for their phones before they even reach for their dreams. They scroll through other people's lives before they have even decided how to shape their own. The truth is simple: the morning was never meant for distraction. It was meant for strength. It is the time when your mind is clear, your energy is fresh, and your spirit is most open to direction. If you let those hours slip away to trivial things, you lose the chance to build yourself before the world begins to pull you in every direction. Strength in the morning does not mean brute force. It means fortifying yourself in the areas that matter. Strength of mind, strength of body, and strength of spirit. When you read something meaningful, you strengthen your perspective. When you write your goals or your thoughts, you strengthen your clarity. When you move your body, you strengthen your energy. And when you reflect in silence, in prayer, or in gratitude, you strengthen your character. These acts may seem small, but they add layers of resilience, focus, and power that you will carry throughout the day. On the other hand, distraction is a thief. It steals your focus before you even have a chance to direct it. If you begin your morning with endless messages, notifications, and entertainment, you may feel busy, but you will not be productive. You may feel awake, but you will not be alive. Distraction trains your mind to react, while discipline trains your mind to create. And the truth is, the world will provide more than enough noise during the day. The morning is the one time you can truly claim as your own. Don't let it be stolen. Consider the difference between starting the morning with intention versus starting it with chaos. One person rises early, stretches, takes time to read, and sets clear goals for the day. By the time the world begins calling, they are already strong, centered, and ready. Another person wakes late, rushes through the routine, and begins the day scrolling, worrying, or complaining. By the time the demands of life arrive, they are already tired, scattered, and weak. Which life do you think produces more results? Which one produces more peace, more confidence, and more success? The answer is obvious. Strength in the morning is about ownership. It is about deciding that before anyone else gets a piece of your time, you will invest in yourself. You cannot give to others what you do not first build within yourself. You cannot lead with clarity if your own mind is foggy. You cannot support others with energy if you have none. You cannot make wise choices if you begin the day in distraction. The strongest leaders, thinkers, and achievers all understand this. The morning belongs to self-mastery. This does not mean you need to spend hours on a complicated routine. It only means that the first minutes of your day must be intentional. 10 minutes of reading can expand your mind more than hours of idle talk. A brief workout can energize your body more than caffeine ever could. A moment of reflection can ground your spirit better than any distraction can soothe it. It is not about the length of time. It is about the quality of investment. When you begin your day with strength, you carry that strength into every conversation, every decision, and every challenge. You are no longer reacting to the day. You are leading it. And that difference, repeated day after day, is what separates those who drift from those who rise. Remember this: mornings were never designed for distraction. They were given to you as a gift, a private space to prepare yourself. Use them wisely, and you will discover that the strength you build in those quiet hours becomes the foundation for a powerful life. Discipline is the great divider between those who merely wish for a better life and those who actually build one. It is the quiet force that shapes character, directs habits, and constructs success. The truth is simple: discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. The small effort required to stay consistent each morning is light compared to the crushing burden of looking back years from now and realizing you wasted your best opportunities. Every choice you make carries a weight, and the question is whether you will carry the light weight of discipline today or the heavy weight of regret tomorrow. Think about what discipline really is. It is not punishment, nor is it a rigid set of rules. Discipline is the decision to align your daily actions with your deepest values. It is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without it, goals remain fantasies, and dreams remain unfulfilled promises to yourself. With it, even the impossible begins to move within reach. When you practice discipline in the morning, whether it's waking up on time, exercising, studying, or reviewing your goals, you prove to yourself that you are in control, and that proof builds confidence. Regret, on the other hand, is a silent thief. It creeps in slowly. At first, skipping discipline seems harmless. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow." One missed day turns into two, then into weeks, then into years. Suddenly you find yourself looking back, realizing the habits you ignored have cost you opportunities, relationships, health, or wealth. And regret does not ask permission. It settles into your heart and weighs heavily on your spirit. It whispers what could have been if only you had been consistent. That is why regret weighs tons. It carries the full measure of wasted potential. The beauty of discipline is that it is never as hard as it seems in the moment. The mind exaggerates the effort, but once you begin, the burden is light. Reading a few pages each morning, writing down your priorities, or pushing through a short workout. These things may require effort, but they cost very little compared to the return they give. Each act of discipline compounds. Each repetition strengthens the muscle of self-control. Each day of commitment makes the next day easier. Discipline is like interest in a savings account. It grows quietly at first, then suddenly, it multiplies into something significant. The cost of regret, however, never stays small. Neglecting your health today may seem insignificant, but years of neglect add up to disease, fatigue, and frustration. Neglecting your learning today may feel like nothing, but years of neglect lead to stagnation and lost opportunities. Neglecting your dreams today may be easy, but years later you will carry the pain of knowing you traded your future for comfort. That is why regret feels heavier. It is compounded neglect, pressing down on your shoulders all at once. The wise understand this difference. They choose to carry the ounces today, so they will not have to carry the tons tomorrow. They embrace the discomfort of discipline because they know it is temporary, but they reject the pain of regret because they know it is permanent. They remind themselves that discipline is not a burden but a gift, the gift of self-respect, progress, and freedom. Each morning becomes a chance to choose which weight you will carry, the light one now or the heavy one later. So when the alarm rings and your body says, "Stay in bed," remember that moment is not about comfort. It is about the weight you are choosing. Get up, read the book, write the plan, move your body, sharpen your mind, carry the ounces with pride. Because years from now, when you look back, you will not feel the heaviness of regret. You will feel the lightness of having built a life you are proud of. Discipline is never a punishment. It is the path to freedom. And freedom, once earned, weighs nothing at all. Your mind is the most valuable asset you own, and every morning you have a choice: to deposit something that builds your future, or to withdraw something that drains it. Think of your mind as a bank account. Each thought, each action, each decision is either a deposit or a withdrawal. If you begin the day with worry, distraction, or laziness, you are already in debt before the day has even started. But if you begin with wisdom, gratitude, learning, and focus, you are adding interest to an account that will grow beyond measure. The quality of your deposits will always determine the size of your returns. Every successful life is built on compound interest of discipline, of knowledge, of effort. The reason the morning matters so much is that it sets the tone for these deposits. In the first hour of the day, your mind is like fresh soil, ready to receive whatever seeds you choose to plant. If you feed it with negativity, complaints, and meaningless distractions, you cannot expect a harvest of strength and clarity. But if you plant seeds of learning, reflection, and determination, you create a harvest of wisdom and power. The principle is unchanging: you reap what you sow, and you always sow first in the morning. Some people underestimate the small choices they make at the start of the day. They think 5 minutes of reading does not matter, or a few minutes of silence is unimportant. But here is the truth: every deposit counts. Just as small amounts of money saved over time create wealth, small amounts of discipline practiced daily create greatness. A little bit of wisdom each day compounds into a lifetime of insight. A little bit of effort each morning compounds into strength of character. The bank of the mind rewards consistency, not occasional effort. What you deposit in the morning also affects how you spend during the day. If you begin with focus, you are less likely to waste time on distractions. If you begin with gratitude, you are less likely to complain. If you begin with learning, you are more likely to grow. Each deposit influences not only your present, but also your choices for the next hour, the next day, and the next year. That is why mornings are so critical. They are not just about starting well, they are about shaping the direction of your entire future. Neglect, on the other hand, creates debt. And debt in the mind is dangerous because it accumulates silently. One morning wasted may not seem like much, but days of neglect turn into weeks, and weeks into years. Then one day you wake up realizing you are mentally bankrupt, out of clarity, out of ideas, out of energy. Just as financial debt robs a person of freedom, mental debt robs a person of potential. It chains you to mediocrity and regret. But the good news is this: no matter where you are, you can begin today with a new deposit. You can change the course of your life by deciding that the first thing you feed your mind each morning will be something that builds, not something that destroys. The greatest achievers understand this truth. They guard their mornings as carefully as a banker guards a vault. They will not allow gossip, negativity, or idle chatter into their first hours. They protect their deposits and refuse to waste them on things that do not matter. They know that wealth of the mind precedes wealth of the body, the wallet, or the world. To be rich in thought is to be prepared for success when opportunity comes. So each morning, ask yourself, what am I depositing into my mind today? Will it give me strength or weakness? Will it build me or drain me? Will it move me forward or keep me stuck? Remember, every day you either add to your account or subtract from it. Over time, the balance sheet of your life will show the results. And if you want the kind of life that grows in abundance, start by making wise deposits every morning. Because when the bank of your mind is full of courage, wisdom, and determination, success becomes inevitable. Owning your mornings is the key to owning your life. The truth is, the way you spend the first part of your day sets in motion a chain reaction that determines the quality of your hours, your weeks, your months, and eventually your years. If you begin with chaos, you carry chaos. If you begin with strength, you carry strength. This is why those who discipline their mornings eventually discipline their destiny. Small actions, repeated at the start of each day, compound into extraordinary results over time. Success is not built in sudden leaps but in steady steps, and the first step is always taken in the morning. Consider the person who wakes up without intention. They hit the alarm, they rush, they stumble into the day reactive to whatever comes their way. Emails, calls, social media, noise, everything controls them except themselves. They may feel busy, but business is not productivity. They may feel awake, but they are not truly alive. Their day owns them instead of the other way around. Now consider the one who owns their mornings. They rise with a plan. They take time to prepare their mind, sharpen their focus, move their body, and connect with their values. By the time the world begins to demand from them, they are already anchored, clear, and ready. The difference in the outcomes of these two lives is enormous, yet it all begins in the first hour. The great secret of success is that it is never one giant decision. It is 1,000 small decisions made consistently. And the morning is where these decisions gather their power. Waking up on time is one decision. Choosing to read instead of scroll is another. Writing your goals is another. Moving your body is another. None of these alone will transform your life overnight. But repeated every morning, they form a routine. And the routine forms a character. And character, more than anything else, determines destiny. Own the small hours and you will eventually own the big results. This is why the most successful people treat their mornings as sacred. They do not allow trivialities to invade that space. They know that once the day begins, distractions multiply, demands increase, and attention scatters. But the morning is pure. It is yours before the world takes it. If you invest that time into building yourself, you become stronger than anything the day throws at you. If you waste it, you begin the day already behind, trying to catch up with life instead of leading it. Owning your mornings also builds a sense of pride and self-respect. Each time you follow through with your routine, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, disciplined, and capable. That proof builds confidence, and confidence fuels greater action. It is a cycle of growth that begins with something as simple as rising with intention. On the other hand, each time you betray your own plan, you weaken your self-respect. You teach yourself that your words mean little, your goals are optional, and your dreams are negotiable. That is how people drift into mediocrity, by losing the battle of the morning. But the good news is this: you can reclaim your mornings at any time. No matter how many years you have lived reactively, no matter how many routines you have broken, tomorrow offers a fresh chance. The alarm will ring, and the choice will be yours. Will you begin in weakness or in strength? Will you start by chasing distractions, or by building your future? Will you waste the sacred hours or will you own them? Remember, the day belongs to those who prepare for it. The future belongs to those who design it. And the design always begins when the sun rises. Own your mornings and you will own your days. Own your days and soon enough, you will own your future.